Alright, today we are going to talk about volume. Volume is the space inside a 3D object. So we're going to go ahead and look at some 3D objects here. Here's the 3D object coming. There we go. 3D objects we talked about. This one would be considered a rectangular prism because it's not, all the sides, all the faces aren't the same, so it wouldn't be a cube. This is a rectangular prism. A 3D figure is going to have length, width, and depth. So with volume, what we're basically doing is we're taking and finding out how many of these 3D 1 cubic unit we can fit in there. Chopping that box up into basic cubic units. Now it kind of looks like I just wrote 777, but I'm actually trying to draw these square units that are inside there. So because this side says that it's 3, it's going to be 3 centimeters across, 1 centimeter width, and then it's 2 centimeters tall. So to find volume, if the cubes are already in there, we can just count the cubes. But we can also use the formula for volume of length times width times height. If we do all of those numbers in there, we will find how much space is inside this rectangular prism. So we could do 3 times 1 times 2. This can be done in our head, I hope. 3 times 1 is, right, we should have 3. And then we have our 2 left over here, and 3 times 2 is 6. Now, based on the commutative property of multiplication, I could rearrange my numbers in any order and it's still going to work. Let's try this again. We want to know the volume inside this purple figure. We have length times width times height is our formula for volume. Well, our length looks to be about 8. Our width is 4 and our height is 4. So when we multiply those together, I'm going to do 4 times 4 first, and then times that by 8. I'm probably going to have to do some math here. 16 times 8 out to the side. I'm not just going to know this one off the top of my head. If you do, awesome. If not, I should see the math going on there. So this one is going to be 128 inches. Another thing, when we write our total there, we have to put cubed. It's a little 3 up there that we put because we are using 3 different dimensions here. 1, 2, 3. And we put them all in there, so we have to put the cubed up top. We could also, remember what I said before, we could put the numbers in any order and we should get the same exact answer. So let's try, say someone looks at this and sees, oh, length times width times height. Maybe the length is 4, the width is 4, and the height is 8. Let's see if we get the same thing. 4 times 4 is 16. Yep. 128 inches cubed. Okay, so let's try one more time. Here's our shape. A rectangular prism. Kleenex box. The length of this is going to be, let's say that this is 6 centimeters. It's a really small tissue box. And this is 2 centimeters. And the height of it is 3 centimeters. So we're going to use length times width times height. 6 times 2 times 3. 6 times 2 is 12. Times 3 is 36, and we say centimeters cubed. All right, we are going to complete a project on Explain Everything, which is the app I use to create your videos. So the first part of it the first part of this is you have to find a rectangular or a cube, a rectangular prism or a cube around the room. Prism, yep, I spelled that right. So you're going to find a cube or a rectangular prism. Now, items that you might find, maybe they're not a solid rectangular prism, maybe they're like more of a, like our math bins have the open on the top, but we're going to still see how much would fit inside of those math bins. We're going to do some volume with that. So you're going to find a rectangular prism or cube. That's your first step. All right, a refresher on measuring. Remember that we line up the end of the ruler with whatever item we're trying to measure. This pad of Post-it notes I consider a rectangular prism because it has length, it has width, and it has height. So I can measure it to the nearest inch, which would be this one right here. And if we zoom in on that, I started at the beginning right here, and I measured along this line until here, and so the nearest whole inch for this would be 2 inches. Oops. So I can measure to the nearest inch. I could, if you don't have a ruler isn't available, ooh, my pictures are going all crazy. If a ruler isn't available, you could use a protractor. Protractors have both centimeters measures and inch measures on them. So I lined up my ruler here and measured it to the nearest centimeter, which would be 5 centimeters. And then I have this one here, ooh, which I measured to the nearest. I could do, even though it's lined up with centimeters, each one of these tiny ticks here is 1 millimeter. So I know from here to here there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I could choose any of those ways to measure, but I want to make sure that I measure to the nearest whole inch, centimeter, or millimeter. So if it's in between a centimeter, then you want to round to the nearest inch. So you're going to get 3 dimensions for this. So for my Post-it notes, I'm going to use centimeters. I decided my Post-it notes are 5 centimeters long. They're 4 centimeters wide and 1 centimeter tall, or the height. So I have all of those measurements. So reviewing the steps so far, we have find a rectangular prism or cube, measure it to the nearest whole inch, centimeter, or millimeter, and remember those dimensions. All right, so you found your item and you've measured it. So what you're going to do next is you're going to go into explain everything, and there is a plus button on the side of your screen. If you are creating your own video, you'll get a plus button, and so you're going to press the plus button and take a picture of whatever item it is that you measured. Make sure when you take your picture that you show that the item had length, width, and height. So this picture would be okay. I would prefer something a little closer up, either way, but you can see in this picture that it has length, it has width, and it has height, that it's got some thickness to it. So you're going to take a picture of that, and then just like I showed, so you're going to draw in the dimensions here on your video with the picture. You're going to say, oh, there's some length, there's some width, here's some height, and you're going to write in what it was. Remember, my dimensions were 5, 4, and 1. Make sure you label them. So these were all centimeters. And then on your screen, you're going to do your math to find volume. We do this by length times width times height. So I'm going to show that I'm going to plug my numbers in there and multiply. 4 times 5 is, times 1 is. It's kind of like you're making a video for someone else to show that you know how to do volume. Don't forget on your video that you're going to need to do the math, and you need to put your label on there Don't forget the cubed. So our steps repeated here. We had, okay, so to find a rectangular prism or a cube in the room, measure to the nearest whole inch, centimeters, or millimeter. Take a picture in Explain Everything app. Record yourself drawing in the dimensions, writing the formula, and solving for volume. Make sure you talk about what volume is. Make sure you put labels on there. You can repeat this up to two more times with different objects. Ooh, that's spelled incorrectly. If there is time. So if I say, okay, well, we're down to the last minute, then it's time for you to go ahead and upload or get your video ready to go. And I'll show how to do that on the next screen. All right, so here is the video for how you're going to share it. You're actually going to press the button up at the top of the screen that is share. You're going to press create a video, and then it'll take some time to go ahead and create the video. Then once it creates the video, you're going to save it as a video. It'll save right there on your iPad. It will not take it to YouTube like my videos do. So you're just going to save it. Save video is what's going to pop up at the end. So watch this little short video. It shows you the steps to get it to video, and then after it converts, you're going to go ahead and press the save video. Once you have that done, you're going to go ahead and upload it to Seesaw, drop it on there, and then I will check it out, give you a grade. This is your assignment today. So hopefully you get enough time to be able to complete as many videos as possible. We all kind of have to be respectful that everybody's going to be doing videos, so you need to remember your voice level, find a spot in the room that's going to be the best for you, and go ahead and make your video. Remember, when you take pictures, you're not taking pictures of people, because we are not rectangular prisms. You're taking pictures of items that are rectangular prisms. Please try not to get people in your video, because it's not fair to take pictures of people when they don't know you're taking pictures of them. So, yeah, go ahead and get started with your Explain Everything video, and once it's finished, drop it to Seesaw. And as always, happy mathing!